Hello lovelies, welcome back to my channel. I know I've been MIA. Please don't at me. There've been a lot of moving pieces in my life, and yeah, I took a big step last year and I decided to take a sabbatical to travel around Asia, and just decided that okay fine, I'm going to head along and teach in South Korea. So I'm currently in South Korea and I wanted to share a video. Actually, I wanted to share information about how I actually got here. So it takes about like 6 months to get here. You know that the processes in South Africa are a bit slow, especially with the pandemic and prior to that. But obviously the pandemic also played a part in the process actually taking longer. So I'm going to tell you guys about how I managed to get here this year and how I landed a job. And well, basically, I'm going to create a series of like different steps that you need to follow, and also what to look out for, and most especially I'm going to talk about contracts as well and the interview processes as well. So stay tuned if you want to hear about how I managed to get to South Korea. So step one, I'm looking the wrong side. All right, so step one, I'm going to look down a lot because I actually have my notes here on my PC. So the same process that you actually follow for getting an online teaching job is basically the same, right? The video, the introductory video, you have to have a great resume, you don't necessarily need experience. Your minimum requirements are a bachelor's degree in any field, a TEFL certificate, and an introductory video. Okay, so I already have a video that I've posted about what to say on your introductory video. You can check it out, it's on my channel. And yeah, so step one is to send your degree via email to SAQA. So SAQA, I think you still pay 610 Rand. I'm not really particularly sure about the new prices. It might have gone up a bit. You guys know that inflation has actually hit us hard a lot. But yeah, so when you wait a couple of weeks, I think maybe now you wait about 2 to 3 weeks. It could be more, unfortunately, and it will be sent to postnet, Brooklyn, for collection. So that's in Pretoria. All right. Step two, get your PCC. Your PCC is your police clearance certificate. I'm trying to remember because we often use a lot of acronyms. Okay, so a PCC is a police clearance certificate, right? So this will cost about, I think now it's 160 Rand. It used to be 150 Rand, right? So you do it at your local police station. So you just go there, you get your fingerprints done, you fill in a form, and then you pay 160 Rand. Well, they'll actually want you to pay and provide a proof of payment. So I'd actually suggest that maybe you pass by first, you ask them what do you need, and they'll give you a form. You can take the form home, and then you can fill it in, pay, and then get your proof of payment. If you'd like doing it the old school way of getting into a bank and doing it, but please just pay through your app and just have it on hand. Alrighty, so the police clearance can take up to, well, it used to take up to 2 weeks to 2 months, but now it can take up to 3 months because obviously there's such a huge influx of people that actually want to leave the country. It's very unfortunate, but it is really happening where people are leaving the country. People are getting placements in the UK. People are getting placements in South Korea, in China. I think China is about to open up now, and Taiwan as well. So there is really a huge influx. So it can take up to about 3 months for you to get your police clearance. So I would actually suggest that you start with your police clearance first, and then after that you can do your SAQA process. All right, so yeah, and then you can use Aramex to post your fingerprints to send them to CRC. So what I did was I got my fingerprints done and everything done. Then I asked them for my for the application form, I took the forms myself to CRC, and it was actually faster than actually waiting for the local police station to do that for me, because they sometimes tend to take a little bit long. So if you're going to go through the route of going through EPIK, EPIK has a lot of requirements. I even got tired. But if you do want to go through EPIK, I would actually suggest EPIK, because you will be working with you'll be teaching for government schools, so your public schools and certain schools that are also under the government as well. So I would definitely do that, but then I will touch on that a little bit later on when I talk about the pros and cons of working for a public school and working for a private school, which is called a hagwon in South Korea. All right, so yes, you can get sealed transcripts. EPIK requires sealed transcripts from your university. Only if you're going through the EPIK process, but hagwons do not require this, okay? They only require, like I mentioned previously, okay, so they only require your degree, your TEFL certificate, and your intro video, as well as your degree. Obviously, you can also include your supporting documents, which would be your degree. I only included a TEFL certificate, my resume, and the introductory video. And then after that, once the recruiter contacted me and said, okay, fine, these are the number of schools that are actually looking forward to interviewing you, that's when I actually provided the police clearance documents and other supporting documents as well. I'll list them. Okay, so after that, you send your, once you've received your police clearance and your SAQA is returned to dirco through an agent to be apostilled. So you need to apostille your degree and you need to apostille your police clearance. All right, so this can be done through an agent, as dirco no longer accepts individuals to come in, so they don't accept any walk-ins. All right, so it can be done through postnet. I also did it through postnet. I sent my documents and it was about like I had to only pay 400 rand. I don't know, again, as I previously mentioned, you'll have to contact them and find out if it's still 400 rand. And this is what I did, right, because I was working in Sandton at the time. So I sent my documents from postnet to postnet, so that was actually 100 rand, and then I paid the postnet in Pretoria to take my documents to dirco so that they can be apostilled, and I paid 400 rand for that. All right, and they're very helpful, they're very kind. Like, even if you ask them, have you received this, they do respond. You know, they're very kind, and I really appreciated their service. Really, really good service. Okay, so yes, so I've mentioned the video, I've mentioned everything else. So now, when it comes to you sending your documents to South Korea, I paid roughly around 800 rand, and I was sending my contract, a signed contract. I was also sending my police clearance. I was also sending a lot of documents as well. The recruiter will guide you as to what to do. Some of the documents you don't necessarily have to send, but obviously when you are looking for work, when you're still in the process of looking for work, just to show them that your documents are ready, because some of the schools are not willing to wait about 6 months for teachers anymore, right? So what you can do is you can get all of your documents done, your clearance as well as your SAQA, and getting all of your documents apostilled, and then sending a copy. So I just sent a copy to my recruiter, and I just said, hey, here, my documents are ready, in case, the school actually asks. All right, so yes, and it takes about 5 days for them to receive your documents if you send them via DHL. I was trying to remember what I said them to. So yes, it takes about 5 days for the recruiter to get your documents and for them to process everything. So obviously you can't send your documents unless you have signed a contract, right? So it's you'll get your contract, try to figure out, I would suggest actually interviewing with about 5 schools so that you can pick the best one and go with it. All right. In the next video, I'm going to talk about interview questions and what you can ask your recruiters and the school as well. Okay, so the next process is the school will therefore apply for a visa insurance number. So this is called a VIN number. I'm sure if you are on certain groups like the South African teachers in South Korea group, you will see people asking a lot about a VIN number. So it is a visa insurance number, and that visa insurance number will be done on your behalf for free. Okay. You don't pay them anything for that. All right. And if you are accepted, VIN numbers have been taking so long. Unfortunately, we've been having issues where people have been, I do suggest that you, if it's possible, just do the process yourself the first time. So that you're familiar with the process and you know exactly what to do. But there are agents out there that do assist you with getting your documents done. And unfortunately, some of them have been accused of forging documents and forging signatures. And immigration now has been very strict on nitpicking. They're literally nitpicking South African documents. So please, whatever you submit, make sure that it's real. If you need to ask, you can even send them to me. I don't mind. You can DM me, or maybe you can even ask in the group. Just take a picture and ask if it is an authentic document or not, because now people are getting their documents expedited, and obviously people are being bribed, and things are just funny. There's just a lot of funny things going on. But please be on the safe side and get things done yourself if possible. If you don't have the time, please check the reviews, ask around, try to find out if the agent that you've selected to help you with the process, if they are reputable and if they are professional. All right, and if they don't have a bad reputation for forging documents. All right, because that will be really unfortunate, because you'll actually be banned from entering South Korea. All right, so once everything is done and you've received your VIN number, it takes about a week, but it takes close to 14. Actually, mine took 14 days. I actually got it exactly on the 14th day. That's when I got the call. So you will have to do a TB test and an X-ray test. All right, and that, for me, I paid 900 Rand for it, and it's cash. All right, it should absolutely take under an hour. I was there, in and out, I was done. It's a really, really quick process. I went to Path Care, and you know what? I'll actually post a link to the PDF that actually has all of the information as to which hospitals you can actually go to in and around Johannesburg. All right, so you will now go with all of your documents, including your contract, so everything, the test, your passport. You take that to the South Korean embassy in Pretoria, and you will take your contract, your passport, a copy of your passport, ID photos, and your VIN number. Okay, and if you are going through the EPIK process, they'll also need your sealed transcript as well. So I'll go through it again. So it is your SAQA apostilled degree, your apostilled police clearance, PCC, sealed transcript if you're going through the EPIK program, chest and X-ray, your TB and X-ray results, and passport. I just took my ID photo just in case they needed it. So that's why I'm advising you guys to take it with you as well, just in case. All right, so you're going to pay your visa around 1,020, and this is cash. And you can actually pay up to 1,800. And it takes about 14 days for you to get your visa. And yes, it took 14 days for me to get my visa as well. I was actually quite lucky because everything was so quick. After you have received your, obviously if you've received your VIN number, you're good to go. You can now book your flight. I actually waited to get my visa first. Because I thought I was going to be rejected. I don't know why I thought so, but I was just so nervous. I didn't know what to expect. So I only booked my flight after I got my visa. But please, it's safe. You can definitely book your visa. I mean, you can definitely book your flight after you have handed in all of your documents to the embassy. All right. Before you had to take a COVID test, I would still suggest that people take PCR tests just to avoid a lot of stuff. And you needed to take one 24 hours before your flight. You can also do this through Pathcare. I forgot the other one as well, but please try and find out. So now the new regulations are you can actually just get an antigen test that was done 24 hours, and you'll have to travel with it and show it, but also have the results as well printed out. Okay, so the PCR test that I took, I paid about 650, 700 Rand for it. So yeah. Tickets cost around 10,000 Rand, but to be honest, if it's between May and September, the prices actually tend to spike up a lot. And the reason being, it's definitely during summer holidays, so people will be moving around. And obviously there'll be a lot of tourists as well coming into the country. So you will find that some of the flights will be about roughly 15,000 to 24,000 Rand. So that's a lot of money. So try to book your flight as early as possible. The best rule of thumb would be 3 weeks before. And you don't have to quarantine anymore, especially if you're fully vaccinated. But if you're not fully vaccinated, you are required to quarantine for 7 days. So I'll definitely suggest, and your last vaccination date should be within 180 days. So so that's the rule, the new regulations. Alrighty, so once you land in South Korea, you had to do another test. And yes, you still have to do another test as well. And you had to quarantine, but you don't need to quarantine if you're fully vaccinated. The minimum that they want is for you to be vaccinated twice. But if you get the booster, that would also be great. But obviously, if your last vaccination was longer than 180 days, or if it's out of 180 days, you will definitely have to get a booster, and therefore you will not have to vaccinate. Okay, so once you get here, you can get reimbursed for your flight. Don't forget to ask for reimbursement, and make sure to find out if you are going to be reimbursed when you get here or at the end of your contract. That is very, very important information. Okay, and yeah, start your new job and good to go. All right, so if you have any questions, I will definitely put more information in the description box. And please look out for that. And yeah, let me know what you guys would like to know or what you'd like to find out in my next video. I'll be more than happy to help. Alrighty, so yes, I'll definitely share my journey of being in South Korea. I've just been going through a lot, trying to adjust to a lot. Being in a different country is, yeah, you experience a lot of culture shock. But yeah, I'm very happy to help. And I'm enjoying my stay thus far here in South Korea. And yeah, stay tuned for the next video.